on, everybody, and welcome back to the KellyCast. Mike obviously thinks it's September, wearing his Cowboys gear out here. Meanwhile, me, I'm just ready for this offseason to start.
Well, I didn't have any of the representing teams' jerseys, so I had to represent the AFC, of course, with my favorite team and my favorite NFC team. So
yeah, it is what it is. I'm okay with it. I've gotten used to it. Mike Kelly, along with Dan Kelly, welcome to the KellyCast. If you're brand new, what we do here, we talk football all year long. Buffalo Bills and everybody else, of course. Our Buffalo Bills were eliminated a couple weeks ago, and we don't want to talk about it, so don't ask.
We won't tell.
I just saw myself comment, and I was very confused. You're on my YouTube. Like, it showed up as me. But anyway, that's fine. Besides that, we have the Super Bowl this week, of course. We did not talk last week, but we are here today. You know who that was? That was Sam. She's still signed into my YouTube on her phone. So, Sam, welcome as me. I appreciate you commenting. That's funny, though. It threw me off my game completely. Me and Mike took a well-deserved week off last week. If you missed us, we apologize. But it was nice to not have football for a week. But I'm not prepared for the months and months and months coming ahead, Mike.
Nah, yeah, it's gonna suck. But I got good old hockey to rely on, and maybe.
Oh yeah, sure. Just the worst team in the league. There we go. She got the YouTube account all fixed up. She is now on the correct account. What's up, babe? So, Mike, before we get into this week's game, the biggest game of the year, the game that nobody wants to see, it's boring, it's annoying, we don't really care. Let's talk about some of the head coaching changes that has happened since we were last on, starting with the Washington Commanders. And before we get into Commanders, I want to ask you this, Mike. What do you think of both Vrabel and Belichick not getting head coaching jobs coming into the 2024 NFL season?
I think it's pretty interesting, especially Vrabel at the very least. We've all seen what Belichick can do without Tom Brady, so I mean, I could see why he didn't get the job. Maybe.
Yeah, I can tell you, Marlon Humphrey, cornerback from the Ravens, tweeted out that the greatest coach of all time was unable to get a head coaching spot with 6 different teams. Crazy, isn't it? And then Deion Sanders responded to him, you young boys need to learn some respect. I thought it was pretty funny.
All the respect in the world to the guy, but, the past 3 seasons have cast some major doubt on his abilities.
And even then, go to before Brady. Belichick, we're never going to know if Belichick needed Brady, if Brady needed Belichick. We honestly think it's a combination, but who knows what their careers would have been if they were separate. Obviously, they weren't. But, yeah, I think interesting is the word. Belichick and Vrabel, both not head coaches in 2024. Now, does that mean they're never going to be head coaches again? No, probably not. They're probably going to be head coaches again next year because as the years go on, Mike, these coaches get less and less of an opportunity. One guy who got given a shot, and it's worked out, is the Detroit Lions.
Yep.
Dan Campbell was not great his first couple seasons in Detroit, but, they supported him. They said he was going to stick around, and look at what happened. They built a juggernaut. But the Cowboys, Mike, they lose their defensive coordinator in Dan Quinn. Now, the Cowboys' defense was really good this year.
Yes, they were.
Are you concerned moving forward without your defensive coordinator?
I don't think I'd be too concerned with the defense still being a good chunk intact. They're going to lose some key players, but
yeah, the free agency market going to be really interesting for the Cowboys. But not only did Dan Quinn leave, Mike, he went to a division rival, the Washington Commanders. Does that make you feel a different type of way? I know you don't hate the NFC East the way that other Cowboys fans do, but I'm curious to get your thoughts here.
Particularly, I mean, unless it comes to Miami, I think that's the exception because of being a Buffalo fan and growing up with that rivalry. I don't really hate any other team in the league, to be honest. like that. But you go where you get an opportunity, whether it's with a rival team or somebody next to you that's kin. But
Now, do you think that these coaches should be commended for what they've done in the past? Because Dan Quinn, I don't think Dan Quinn's a good football coach, head coach. Let me preface that. I think he's a good defensive coordinator. And yes, he brought the Atlanta Falcons to the Super Bowl and he lost to Tom Brady. But since then, what my gripe is always, what have you done for me lately? And I just don't understand why some of these teams look for older guys instead of getting younger, because
you have old owners. You have
Yeah.
old owners with the old mindset. So.
I don't like old mindset. It turns me off. It rubs me the wrong way. But we talk about an old guy. Let's talk about the new youngest head coach in the league, the Seattle Seahawks hiring Mike McDonald off of the Ravens staff. He was the defensive coordinator there. Interesting to see these defensive coordinators get jobs, Mike, because I've been talking all year about how I think the NFL is moving to an offensive-minded head coaching league, and I think it is. But, defensive-minded head coaches still have a spot, and there's one, Antonio Pierce, who's neither an offensive-minded head coach nor a defensive-minded head coach. So I guess it kind of depends. I like getting younger, though. I will say that for Seattle. And I will say, remember the whole Pete Carroll situation we were murky about, did he leave? Did they want him to leave? So I read up on it recently. And apparently what happened is before the season, Pete Carroll went to the Seahawks staff and told them, hey, after this year, I don't want to coach anymore, but I want to remain in the organization. So they said, okay, we understand. We'll do what we can. Now, Pete Carroll changed his mind after the season ended. And Seattle said, I'm sorry, but we've already been doing the work here. We've been doing what you asked us to do. And they said, okay, well, you're out, bud. So I thought that was really interesting because, not that you can go back on your word, but the fact that it came down to something like that, interesting.
That is pretty interesting. I mean, again, what you just said it. What have you done for me lately? And he hasn't done what he did the first few years in Seattle. So
yeah, and I think Seattle is one of those teams that just has a questionable future, right? You don't have the answer at quarterback. You have good pieces around him, but you're going to have to do something big in these next few years because you're young, you're talented, but like even this year, I thought Seattle was a really good team. It didn't work out.
Facing the music, your buddy over there is nothing more than a bridge quarterback to try to get where they need to go.
I know Gino's a bridge. I understand that. He didn't have as great of a year this year as he did the previous, right? We know that. I don't know when they're going to look for a quarterback, if that's going to be this year, because they're in a tough position, Mike. When you have a bridge quarterback like a Geno Smith, you're not picking top 10. Right?
No, you're picking middle of the pack like the Bills have.
Yeah, for the last 10 years, right? So I think that's difficult for you, and you're going to have to make sure you get a good scout. Speaking of scouts.
Maybe that's where this is all leading to, the tank.
Maybe. That's a really good point. But speaking of scouts, maybe somebody needs to hire Mitch. Because not only is Mitch the KellyCast draft expert, not only is he the greatest scout that I know, but he is also the winner of the KellyCast Prediction World Championship.
By a long shot, buddy. By a long shot.
Now, Mike, the crazy thing is this was not supposed to be announced until after the Super Bowl. This is when it was supposed to be announced. But guess what Mitch did?
In the second week, he was uncatchable. So
yeah, he was uncatchable after the divisional round. Mitch finishes with a record so far of 9-3. Nobody's able to catch him. There are people able to get to 8 wins, but not to 9. So Mitch, even if he predicts the Super Bowl wrong, is your KellyCast 2023 Prediction World Championship. Once again, wonderful job, my friend. Mike.
We'll send your care package in the mail.
You won the KellyCast 2023 Season Prediction Championship, the other belt that we have. How did it feel to do so well this year? It's something that you probably haven't done before.
Like the predictions, I haven't done that at all. Not in a long time. It was pretty fun. I look forward to doing this next year at some point, whether regardless of what happens. So
Yeah, there's some stuff going on, but we're not gonna get into that right now because I don't know what I can say and what I can't. Sam says it's no fair. Sam, you are still playing for second place, I believe. You're tied up there with Melissa, who shocked the world coming in the playoffs and doing really well. And I think Mike, you're up there too.
Melissa did the opposite of what she did in her fantasy league. She
yeah, instead of being first all year and losing in the championship, she didn't play all year and then showed up for the championship. You're gonna have to be with us for the full season next year and see what you can do. But Mike, well, let's get into this big game, the San Francisco 49ers Kansas City Chiefs football game, right? It's a rematch of what we saw 4 years ago. You and myself did not watch that game together. I was in Florida.
Nope.
I do remember that. I was rooting on the 49ers then, and I think I'm rooting on the 49ers now, even though I don't like them. I'm not a big fan of the San Francisco 49ers as a whole, but I will say they're a fun team to watch. They're explosive. They have so many weapons. And the Kansas City Chiefs.
That defense is just out of this world.
Yeah, the best linebackers in football. They really know how to hit. And then the Kansas City Chiefs, I don't have anything good to say about you. I'm done. I'm done with the Kansas City Chiefs.
They can bite me. And I'm sticking with the conspiracy theorists. They just switched this one up because we're on to you, NFL. We're on to you.
I dig it. Let's talk about the paths here, right? Because the 49ers actually had the easier path. They were the number 1 seed in the NFC, which meant they got the bye week. Coming off the bye, they faced the Green Bay Packers at home, and they almost blow it. If Jordan Love does not throw that ball across field on 1st and 10 and they get a lucky interception, we might not be talking about the San Francisco 49ers right now.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. I think it was 2 weeks ago almost already.
Yeah, it was a long time
a week and a half.
now.
A week and a half, but
and then after that, the 49ers were like, hey, we're not done giving our fans heart attacks. You're going to feel what it's like to be a Bills fan. Go down 21 points to the Detroit Lions again on their home field. And the Lions had a major collapse. San Francisco got it done with some really good plays by the defense, forcing a fumble and just scoring nonstop in that second half, and they clinched their spot moving into the Super Bowl here. And the Kansas City Chiefs, Mike, had it harder, right? The first week, they had to go into wild card weekend and play against Miami. But the thing I'm noticing between these two teams, Mike, like just thinking about it right now, is...
So even with the extra game, you think that they had it harder? I mean, I think San Francisco played the tougher teams because Green Bay was hot at the right time. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
Detroit's been hot all year. They looked like they were just groomed for the Super Bowl this year. I was very disappointed with that loss.
Yeah, that's true that they may have played the harder opponents. I just mean Kansas City as the 3 seed had to go on the road. They didn't have a single home game, and again, yes, and the extra game really matters. That 1 week of rest definitely changes things. So Kansas City takes on Miami in the first week, and, you know, I don't think it was particularly close. I think the weather really played a factor in Kansas City's favor, and I said they didn't play a home game. They did. They played that game in Kansas City against Miami, so my mistake there. Sam, just because you want to win does not mean you get to win. You sound a lot like Tracy right now.
You also want to say certain words, but you can't. No, just kidding.
Come on, don't do it like that.
We all have our words that we can't say. Don't worry.
What's mine?
I don't know. You're such a Nazi that you probably can enunciate them all.
I think it's winner. I can't say that because I'm a freaking loser when it comes to this channel, when it comes to this show. I'm the producer, I'm the host, and I can't seem to get it done. So hopefully, you know, with some practice, I get it next year. Kansas City takes care of Miami, comes into Buffalo. We know what happens there. They beat the Bills after, you know, they couldn't get into the end zone and Tyler Bass couldn't kick a field goal. Mahomes did get outplayed by Josh Allen, 100%. We all know that. Mm-hmm. Moving on, though, they played the Ravens. And the thing I want to mention to you, Mike, is though I said the 49ers had the tougher road, and the scores kind of tell you that, Kansas City was never in trouble, really, other than against Buffalo. They did not have a tough time in these playoffs. So this becomes a conversation of, is the team that's better, which is the 49ers, I think, on paper, are they going to sneak out another one when they go down, or is the Kansas City Chiefs going to do what the Kansas City Chiefs do and win another Super Bowl?
And they've got a very good shot at that, because I said, right before the playoffs started that the Niners were looking like the team that they lost 3 games in a row. And they continue to do that a little bit in the playoffs too. So
yeah,
I almost can see an absolute repeat of the results of the first 2 meetings of the Super Bowl with these guys.
And as much as everybody wanted to talk about the downfall of Travis Kelce, can we talk about his performance in the postseason? I mean, he's been scoring 2 touchdowns a game, almost going for 100 yards in every game. He's now the leader for the most touchdowns in postseason history. Like, give the man his flowers. He's an amazing tight end. But on the other side is another amazing tight end. The top 2 tight ends in football, George Kittle, the people's tight end, as they call him.
Yeah.
Very interesting that they're both in this again. I think, they remind me of the Mahomes and Allen of the tight end position, right? Just because they're so good. They got a great rivalry between each other, and, they run the tight end university camp throughout the off season.
And we all see what Mahomes does to Allen in the playoffs. So
we do.
It could very much be the same result.
But they don't have as much history.
The tight end battle.
The Chiefs and Niners don't have as much history as obviously the Chiefs and the Bills do. This is a game that's hard for me in so many ways because both teams are experienced, right?
Yep.
Both on sides on the head coaching have experience, coaching staff, players.
The teams. Did Purdy play in the last one too? He did not.
Right? No. This is Purdy's first actual go around. But I'm saying the coaching wise and stuff like that. These guys have all been here before, and a lot of the players were players that were on the 49ers 4 years ago when they made the Super Bowl the first time. That defense is the same in a lot of ways. By the way, they're considering benching Chase Young for the Super Bowl, apparently because he lacks motivation and he lacks a motor, apparently. I don't know if this is going to be a thing come Super Bowl Sunday. That
was just a report, or the coach came out?
It's a report.
Okay.
So I don't know if he's going to be inactive. On the other side, we have another player who has question marks, that being Kadarius Toney, who, according to him, is a number 1 wide receiver in the league. Don't know where he got that or why he thinks that, but he's been inactive for the past couple weeks. They've said he's been injured. They've said, it's a couple other different things. I'm curious to see if he's going to play.
Off topic real quick. In one of my jersey collection groups, somebody reached out to the post and said that they were looking for a Kadarius Toney jersey. And then, of course, there was 100 people who said, 100 people who said, so are the Chiefs. So I chimed in to say the exact same thing, but there was already 100. I didn't need to add salt to the wound. I wanted to put something clever, but
that's very
that
funny.
Was funny.
Sam pulls her best Stephanie Tanner out and called you rude, but she said it like this: rude.
Was it Stephanie or Michelle?
I think it was. Was it Michelle? The how rude? Yeah, it was Michelle. What was
no?
Stephanie?
No, it was Stephanie. It was Stephanie. How rude.
Okay, I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was the middle.
You're right. You got the better memory. So
sometimes.
We'll
sometimes. Kansas City Chiefs, San Francisco 49ers. Again, I'm not a fan of these teams. I think it's going to be a good game at the end of the day. In a lot of the ways, Mike, it reminds me of wrestling, because right now in wrestling, it's going to be Rock and Roman Reigns, right? And wrestling fans have been waiting years to see Rock and Roman Reigns. We've been clamoring for years. But now we want to see Cody. And now Cody's getting pushed aside. And Cody was the Lions, basically, because we wanted to see the Lions in the Super Bowl. We wanted to see them fight for it. But no, it's the Niners coming in to sweep it, and then it's the Chiefs on the other side. It's good on the one hand, Mike, because these are probably the top 2 teams in football in terms of this season. They were probably the best teams, and now they match up in the Super Bowl.
I wouldn't have minded seeing Lamar in there, man. They were playing real good football
Baltimore
at
and Detroit
the end,
is what we all wanted.
But but he just
They
typical
couldn't do it.
get it done.
They couldn't
Just
do it.
couldn't get it done.
And the problem with Detroit moving forward is the fact that now you're not going to sneak past anybody. You're not.
Nope.
You're not no longer the Detroit Lions of the past 20 years. You're now the Dan Campbell Detroit Lions, the Detroit Lions who know how to win, the Detroit Lions who won the division, who almost won a playoff game, right? All these things. No, they did win a playoff game.
They did win. They got to the
Rams.
divisional round for the first time in 90
a billion years. Yeah. I think I'm going to select. We're lagging out.
Yep. We're lagging.
We're in a tunnel. The stream's gonna end.
Suspense. Tune in Sunday, folks.
I'm going 49ers because I hate the Kansas City Chiefs. They beat us. I'm sick of them. I hate them. I'm taking the San Francisco 49ers. It doesn't matter anyway because the best I can finish is third.
Yeah, pretty much. But now it's my turn to lag out, right?
Yep.
What do we go? San Fran's better on paper.
They are.
Except for defense, surprisingly.
Yeah, but that's just yards. Remember, nobody can stop Patrick Mahomes. The team that has stopped Patrick Mahomes the most when it comes to playoff games is the Buffalo Bills, and they still haven't been able to beat him.
If the NFL script writers were as good as they are, they should have the ultimate revenge game and have the San Francisco 49ers win, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Kansas City Swifties are going to win. I just feel it. I don't know why. I feel it coming. I hope to God I'm wrong.
Why are we related? What are you doing here?
I'm trying to take a look back. I'm pulling a Dan Kelly here. I'm trying to analyze the last few games that San Fran
the
had.
Dan Kelly experiment doesn't work, Mike. Dan Kelly has not been good at this. Remember,
they eked out against really, really strong teams that were not Kansas City. And as much as everyone talked about Kansas City falling off this year and Patrick Mahomes falling off and not having the greatest production year, here they are again for the second year in a row.
I compare them to the Lakers, right? LeBron during the regular season, he's not that scary. But when it comes to the postseason, when it comes to the playoffs, LeBron turns it on. And that's exactly what the Kansas City Chiefs have done. They played like absolute horse manure all year long. They were terrible. But hey, everybody wanted to bag on the Bills. Everybody wanted to bag on Buffalo. Bag on Josh Allen for the turnovers. Meanwhile, the Kansas City Chiefs are losing due to penalties. And instead of fixing their errors, they blame the officials. They blame people. That's what the Kansas City Chiefs do. They're arrogant. I hate them.
If Kadarius Toney is out, because he's been the biggest defender on that team with penalties and drop balls,
drop passes.
I think Kansas City wins. And I don't know. I mean, I get you want to stick up for a guy that you like, and he might be a great teammate, but he is not been there this year.
Yeah,
and
I don't
can't
know if he's
see
gonna
the
be,
defense against him.
I don't know if he's going to be a part of the team next year. I don't know if he's going to be part of the league
Probably
next
not.
year.
Yeah,
really, for the way he's played, I was surprised he didn't get released. Honestly, I get it. It's your guy, and you traded for him, and all these things. It didn't work out with the Giants, and maybe now we're seeing why. This guy thinks he's good, and I understand that. I think I'm good at what I do. I think everybody should think they're good at what they do.
Yeah.
But don't go out saying you're this number one guy. Not every team has a number one receiver. Like, honestly, even though you're listed as the number one, does not make you a number one, the best or one of the best receivers in the league. You're just not that yet, Kadarius Toney. And I don't know if you will get a chance to do it. Hopefully you do. I like rooting for people, but I hate you because you play for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll be honest with you. I think my highlight is going to be eating whatever Melissa decides to cook for dinner that day because I'm not really going to be caring too much about this game. I'll pay attention to the commercials, pay attention to the halftime show with Usher.
I was gonna say
And-
probably the halftime show is gonna be my highlight. I haven't heard Usher in like forever. I'm probably gonna listen to 7 o'clock on the dot.
Now I'm not the only guy who's sang on this channel. I appreciate that.
that.
So we're getting to the point here where we're going to sign off for you guys. Don't know what the future holds for the KellyCast right now, but the page will continue. I can promise you that on Facebook. So keep up to date there for everything. Follow us on all social medias at the KellyCast. This is Mike. I'm Dan. We've had a wonderful 2023 season with you guys. Stay up to date. We'll have the videos with Mitch coming out soon regarding the Bills' possible picks in the first round and the top 10 prospects that Mitch believes are, the best rookies coming into the league. So we want to thank you once again for watching it. Don't forget to leave a like, share, subscribe. Mike, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
He's so good at this.
I'm great at it.
Enjoy the game with your family. Go Niners. Bang, bang, Niner gang.